Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this afternoon's meeting. Before we begin, I'm going to ask everyone to please bow your head for a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Minges.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Staff proposes next Wednesday, October 9th at 2 o'clock for our next commission business meeting.
Very well. October 9th, 2 o'clock.
On our utilities agenda, item number 1, docket number 2010-191C. This matter is an interconnection agreement.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Whitfield.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the interconnection agreement between Bell South Telecommunications, LLC, doing business as AT&T South Carolina, and Wholesale Carrier Services, Incorporated. So move.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Whitfield's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. The motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 2, docket number 2019-184E. We have a motion for confidential treatment.
Mr. Chairman, the South Carolina Solar Business Alliance is requesting protective treatment of certain portions of Ed Burgess' testimony filed in this docket. The Solar Business Alliance states the purpose of this request is to respect the confidential designations by Dominion. I move that we approve that request.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Irvin's motion. Are there questions or comments? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 3, docket numbers 2019-184, 185, and 186E. This matter concerns the Office of Regulatory Staff's request regarding communications with the independent expert in these documents.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Howard.
Chairman, I move we grant the request. Since Act 62 provides that the qualified independent third party, which the Commission is to employ, engage, or hire, is subject to the same ex parte prohibitions contained in Chapter 3, Title 58, as all other parties. Statute indicates that any communications between the parties and the independent consultant regarding the substantial issues in the dockets must be communicated to all parties in order to avoid potential violation of ex parte prohibitions in Title 58. Since the qualified independent third party's duty will be to the Commission and operates under the authority of the Commission, therefore I move we instruct the parties that all parties are to be copied on communication between the Commission's independent expert and any one party. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Howard's motion. Are there questions or comments? Not all in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. The motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 4, docket number 2018-243A. We have a motion for confidential treatment.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we grant the request for confidential treatment of the financial statement of Stephen R. Goldie. So move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Hamilton's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 5, docket number 2009-84A. This matter concerns the filing of annual reports.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Belser.
Pursuant to South Carolina Code Annotated Regs contained in Chapter 103, all regulated utility companies are required to file an annual report with the Commission. Effective January 1, 2020, I move that all sewerage, water, transportation Class E, and telecommunications annual reports be filed electronically in the format currently provided by the Office of Regulatory Staff. General instructions for each report form should be modified to state: 1, an electronic copy should be submitted to the annual report at PSC.sc.gov email address with an electronic copy retained by the company. 2, all forms are available in PDF on the Office of Regulatory Staff's website at https:// //regulatorystaff.sc.gov/. All electric and gas utility annual reporting requirements remain unchanged as a result of this motion. I so move.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Belcher's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 6, docket number 2019-305C. We have a request to overturn the pooling administrator's denial of numbering resources.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. MCI Metro Access Transmission Service Corporation, doing business as Verizon Access Transmission Services, is petitioning the Commission to overturn the federal pooling administrator's denial of Verizon's access application for one contiguous 1,000 block of telephone numbers, also known as 1,000 block, in Florence, South Carolina. In support of its petition, Verizon Access states a business customer is converting its phone system to Cisco VoIP and adding direct inward dialing capability for patient rooms. Verizon Access maintains this customer has requested service using a block of 200 consecutive numbers in the 843 MPA, and the customer has stated that it will experience an adverse operational impact on the implementation of its desired dial plan if the request is not granted. Verizon Access does not have the numbering inventory to meet its customers' requests, and its application to the pooling administrator, SOMOS, for 1,000 block was denied. However, FCC rules allow a state regulatory commission to overturn a denial of a requested numbering resources when a carrier has demonstrated a verifiable need for numbering resources. I conclude that Verizon Access has demonstrated a verifiable need for the numbering resources, and since an appeal to this state commission is the only means to effect its request, I also conclude that the telecommunications provider has exhausted all available remedies. Therefore, I move that we direct the pooling administrator to approve Verizon Access request. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Williams' motion. Are there questions or comments? If not, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
Staff proposes carrying item 7 over.
Okay, we'll carry it over.
Item number 8, docket number 2019-6G. This matter concerns an application of Dominion Energy regarding the application of the Natural Gas Rate Stabilization Act to gas distribution services.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Whitfield.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion in this docket, a little bit lengthy, but bear with me. Mr. Chairman, pursuant to South Carolina Code annotated 58-5-430 in 2015 and 58-5-440 2015 of the Natural Gas Rate Stabilization Act, RSA or Act, Dominion Energy, South Carolina, Inc., filed its quarterly monitoring report for the 12-month period ending March 31, 2019, and proposed adjustments to its rates and charges. In accordance with the RSA Rate Stabilization Act, the Office of Regulatory Staff has reviewed the report and presented adjustments and recommendations to this commission. The only elements of the report that were contested by Dominion were as follows. Number 1, disallowances related to economic development expenses. Number 2, reduction of employee incentive pay. And number 3, removal of 50% of the base pay and benefits paid to the company's 4 executives with the highest amount of compensation allocated to South Carolina natural gas operations. Mr. Chairman, first, in regard to the economic development expenses, ORS proposed an adjustment of $34,501 to remove costs of certain sponsorships and grants to nonprofit organizations that did not directly relate to the provision of safe and reliable gas operations or increase total system sales and customers. The company failed to adequately explain how these costs directly related to the provision of safe and reliable utility service or quantify the economic impact of these expenses. So I move that we accept this adjustment by the ORS. Second, I move that we accept ORS's adjustment of $237,172 to remove the portion of long-term incentives and short-term incentives for all employees allocated to South Carolina natural gas operations for the company's earnings per share and total shareholder return. Such payments are not certain, may not be directly attributed to the actions of the company's employees, and should be made using increased earnings, not through customer rates. Third, I move that we accept the ORS adjustment of $329,783 to remove 50% of the base pay and benefits paid to the company's 4 highest compensated executives. This is an adjustment that equitably splits the burdens of ratepayers and shareholders. Further, we approve the ORS request to require the company in future RSA filings to identify and provide the capitalized incentives and associated taxes included in plan and service, accumulated depreciation, and depreciation expense. The ORS can only make recommendations in this proceeding based on the information provided by the company. This request will ensure that ORS has all pertinent information for future RSA filings. ORS also recommends that the financial baseline metrics that were adopted by the Commission in Order Number 2005-619 be adjusted to ensure the RSA benefits both DESC and the customer. I move that the company provide its position regarding the ORS recommendation by November 18, 2019. All other ORS adjustments not otherwise discussed in this motion are hereby approved. I further move that the company file schedules, rates, and charges reflective of the 3 adjustments presented in this directive within 5 business days. A full order will be forthcoming before October 15, 2019. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Whitfield's motion. Are there questions or comments? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 9, docket number 2019-7G. This matter concerns the application of Piedmont Natural Gas Company regarding the application of the Natural Gas Rate Stabilization Act to gas distribution services.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Howard.
Mr. Chairman, pursuant to the Commissioner's obligation under Section 58-5-420 of the Natural Gas Rate Stabilization Act, I move we approve the gas company's quarterly monitoring report for the 12-month period ending March the 31st, 2019, as adjusted by the ORS. Also move that the Commission adopt the settlement agreement of the parties, including the proposed rates, as being in the public interest. Piedmont will implement rates for the 12-month period beginning with the first billing cycle of November 2019, calculated on the basis of a 9.9% return on equity instead of a 12.6% return on equity approved by prior Commission orders. With the ORS's adjustment and the return of equity on 9.9%, this reduces the company's request by $6,845,620 when compared to rates calculated at the authorized ROE of 12.6. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Howard's motion. Are there questions or comments? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
Turning to our transportation agenda, items number 1 through 7 are new applications that can be taken together in the following dockets. Item 1, 2019-309T, Four Seasons Limousine Service, LLC. Item 2, 2019-310T, Marrakesh Incorporated, DBA MDL Transportation. Item 3, 2019-312T, Best Limousine Company, LLC. Item 4, 2019-311T, Elite Home Care, LLC. Item 5, 2019-313T, Palmetto Shuttle, LLC. Item 6, 2019-314T, Cornelius Wright, DBA CNC Transportation. And item 7, docket 2019-315T, Merit Transport Incorporated.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Hamilton.
Mr. Chairman, I would move we approve the new applications for the dockets that have been identified by Mr. Minges. So move, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Hamilton's motion. Are there questions or comments? Not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 8, docket number 2019-68T. We have a request for an extension of time.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belzer.
I move that we grant the request of Septi and Jones doing business as coast-to-coast movers for an additional extension of time until November 1st, 2019, to comply with Commission rules and regulations. Thank you.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Belzer's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
Item number 9, docket number 2019-192T. We have a request for an extension of time.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Williams.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we grant the request of Tommy's Transportation LLC for an extension of time until December 27th, 2019 to comply with Commission rules and regulations. So move, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Williams' motion. Are there questions or comments? Not all in favor, please say aye.
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 All opposed, no. And the motion carries.
Item number 10, docket number 2019-135T, is a request for an extension of time.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Irvin.
I move that we grant the request of Essential Care Greenville LLC for an extension of time until December 16, 2019 to comply with Commission rules and regulations. So moved.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Irvin's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
Item 11, docket number 2019-134T, is a request for an extension of time.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Belzer.
I move that we grant the request of Carolina Care Greenville LLC for an extension of time until December 16, 2019 to comply with Commission rules and regulations. So moved.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Belzer's motion. Are there questions or comments? If not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
And item number 12, docket number 2016-329T, is a request for suspension.
Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Williams.
On May 8, 2019, the Commission granted Sunrise Solutions a suspension of their operating rights until September 30, 2019, after the carrier appeared on the Office of Regulatory Staff's list of carriers scheduled for revocation for failure to maintain and file evidence of insurance. I move that we grant the request of Sunrise Solutions, LLC, to suspend Class C non-emergency certificate number 9286 until March 2020. If the carrier does not comply with all Commission's rules and regulations by that time, it must apply for a new certificate. So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. You've heard Commissioner Williams' motion. Are there questions or comments? If not all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. And the motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, that concludes today's agenda.
Thank you. Is there anything else to come before us this afternoon? Not, we are adjourned.
All right, Judge, good seeing you.
All right.
Thank you for joining us for today's post-meeting summary. These Commission business meetings are held each Wednesday at 2 p.m. and all agendas and materials are posted to the docket management system prior to each meeting. If you have questions about commission business, we encourage you to reach out to us at robert.bachman, that's B-O-C-K-M-A-N. Again, that's robert.bachman at psc.sc.gov, or via social media by following the SC Utility Consumer Program on Twitter at Utility Consumer and on Facebook at SC Utility Consumer. Today's business meeting started at 2:01 p.m. with item 1 on the utilities agenda, a request for approval of an interconnection agreement between two telecommunications companies. This request was granted following a motion made by Commissioner Whitfield. Item 2 was a request made by the South Carolina Solar Business Alliance to treat certain portions of filed testimonies confidential in order to respect the confidential designations by Dominion. This request was granted following a motion made by Commissioner Irving. Item 3 dealt with 3 dockets and ORS's request that all parties be copied on communications between the independent expert and any of the parties. This request was granted following a motion made by Commissioner Howard. Item 4 was another request for confidential treatment of a financial statement. This request was granted following a motion made by Commissioner Hamilton. Item 5 was a request for the approval of electronic filing of annual reports for telecommunications, water, and wastewater utilities, as well as transportation Class E carriers. Noting that all forms are available on the ORS website and that any electronic copy should be submitted to annualreports@psc.sc.gov, that's annualreports@psc.sc.gov. Commissioner Belser made the motion to accept this request, which carried. Commissioner Belser noted that all electric and gas utility annual reporting requirements remain unchanged as a result of this motion. Item 6 was a request to consider a petition for review of SOMAS's denial of application for numbering resources, with Commissioner Williams noting that the Commission concludes, quote, that Verizon Access has demonstrated a verifiable need for the numbering resources, and since an appeal to the State Commission is the only means to effect its request, I also conclude that the telecommunications provider has exhausted all available remedies. Therefore, I move that we direct the pooling administrator to approve Verizon Access's request. This motion carried. Item 7 was carried over to a later meeting. Item 8 concerned a request by Dominion Energy South Carolina to have the terms of the Natural Gas Rate Stabilization Act applied to the company's rates and charges for gas distribution services. Some background here. Dominion filed, as usual, its quarterly monitoring report for the 12-month period ending on March 31st, 2019, and proposed adjustments to its rates and changes. The ORS reviewed the report and presented recommendations to the Commission. 3 elements of ORS's report were contested by Dominion. Today, Commissioner Whitfield made the motion to 1. Accept ORS's adjustment of $34,501. 2. Adjust employee incentive pay by $237,172 per ORS's recommendations. And 3, quote, accept the ORS adjustment of $329,783 to remove 50% of the base pay and benefits paid to the company's 4 highest compensated executives. This motion carried. The full order will be published to the docket management system before October 15th, 2019, and will be available to view at that time. We also encourage you to watch the archive of today's meeting at www.scetv.org/PSC/. Again, that's scetv.org/PSC/. Item 9 covered a request made by a natural gas company to have the terms of the National Gas Rate Stabilization Act, that's under Section 58-5-422, apply to the company's rates and charges for gas distribution services. The Commission moved to approve the gas company's quarterly monitoring report for the 12-month period ending March 31st, 2019, as adjusted by the ORS, and that the Commission adopt the settlement agreement provided by the parties. With ORS's adjustment and the return on equity of 9.9%, this reduced the company's request by $6.8 million when compared to rates calculated at the authorized ROE of 12.6%. In addition to these items, commissioners were also briefed on 46 other issues related to utilities in South Carolina. The complete list of these items, as well as links to dockets and all materials, is available on the docket management system at dms.psc.sc.gov. Moving on to the transportation agenda, items 1 through 7 were requests for new certificates for Class C transportation companies. These requests were granted following a motion made by Commissioner Hamilton. Items 8 through 11 were requests for extension to comply with Commission rules and regulations. These requests were granted following motions made by Commissioners Belser, Williams, Urban, and Belser again, respectively. Item 12 was a request for suspension until March 2020. That request was granted following a motion made by Commissioner Williams. In addition to the matters discussed in detail, Commissioners were advised on another transportation-related issue. You can find more about that docket as well as links to any docket materials discussed today and any orders issued by the Commission through our docket management system. Again, that's dms.psc.sc.gov. The next Commission business meeting will be next Wednesday, October 9th at 2 p.m. The meeting will be live streamed, and you can access the broadcast by visiting our site at psc.sc.gov and clicking on live stream. If you have questions about today's proceedings, please follow us on social media. You can find us on Twitter at PSC of SC and at Utility Consumer, or on Facebook at Public Service Commission of South Carolina or SC Utility Consumer. You can also call the offices of the PSC at 803-896-5100. Again, that's 803-896-5100. Thank you.